What's going on, guys? Killer6 back with another Borderlands 3 trailer analysis video. In this video, I'm going to go in depth and cover pretty much everything we know up to this point. So let's get started. So over on Borderlands.com, they've now shown us the manufacturers for the different weapons in Borderlands 3, and they are as follows. Torg. With Torg, you can switch between regular and sticky projectile fire modes. Stickies do more damage if a bunch of them detonate on the same target. Malawan, toggle between two elements, charge your weapon, and deal guaranteed elemental damage with your finger glued to the trigger. Hyperion, aim down sights to take cover behind your weapon-mounted shield and keep your finger on the trigger for increased accuracy. Tedior, toss your gun like a grenade to reload, then watch it pursue a nearby enemy as a fully loaded version digistructs in your hands. Jacobs, deliver devastating critical hits to enemies soft and sensitives, then joy puke as your bullets ricochet toward other targets. Dahl, toggle between alternate fire modes depending on your playstyle, your predicament, and your predilection for bonus damage. Atlas, step 1, hit your enemies with tracker tags, step 2, unleash a hail of smart bullets to track you towards your targets, and step 3, loot. Vladoff, augment these rapid-firing, ammo-hungry guns with underbarrel attachments including tasers, rocket tubes, and additional gun barrels. And finally, the new one, which apparently replaces Bandit but looks equally like a bunch of parts thrown together by bandits, the COV, or Children of the Vault. So, obviously, everything has changed, but in ways that you never dreamed about. It looks like your weapons will have modular parts, so you can change your sniper into a rocket launcher mid-fight, you can switch your Dahl's firing pattern, you can add tasers to guns, you can even get guns that will chase enemies while berating them. This is going to be absolutely amazing. So now that we've covered that, let's take a closer look at the trailers and talk about not just the weapons, but some of the other more important aspects that you might have overlooked. So the first thing that we spot are the names of our new enemies, Tyreen and Troy, aka the Calypso twins. We also get this blurb about honoring the father, which is very interesting. One thing to note is that in Greek mythology, Calypso is generally said to be the daughter of the Titan Atlas, for what that's worth. Here we can see that they appear to be offering special powers in exchange for loyalty. Now, can we just take a second to acknowledge just how badass this intro is? Now, looking closer, we can see that Troy has siren-like marks, but they're red. He also has these glowing crystals, which reminded me of Lady Hammerlock's ice shard, which give him his powers, and he has this big-ass robotic arm, so yeah. Now, Tyreen has the siren marks, but hers appear blue, and I know this is probably nothing, but Tyreen kind of reminds me a little bit of Valerie from Tales from the Borderlands. If you remember that crazy chick, then yeah. It's probably nothing there, just an observation. So here's our first look at Lilith. She's back and she looks kind of pissed. I love how much more emotive the faces look now. So definitely really cool how they've done that. Here's our first look at the new Vault Hunters. And next, I'm going to slow it down to show off the skills for each character. Now, Zane is a semi-retired hitman who has the ability to create a Digistruct version of himself and also has a companion bot. Flak can apparently control beasts like these guys who I've decided to name Happy Scrappy Hero Pup, Power Boy, and Frickin' Scott. Now this is Mose and she has a mech suit. My wife Killer B decided to name it Miss Daisy. After that, we get a look at some of the various locales, and in this shot we can actually even see a claptrap unit by a new use station. Here we see a bandit strapped to a target wheel, making me think this is probably Ellie's doing since she likes to strap bandits to things. Finally, we get our first look at the siren character Amara. Now we cut to Tannis apparently messing around with the vault key. Now, is it possibly that Tannis tricks the Vault Hunters into giving this to Lilith, but maybe somehow it's a trap? We know that the deciphered Morse code from Battleborn came up with a message: visit Promethea, children of the vault. We are not on Pandora anymore. Tannis is not what she seems. Do not open the vaults. Now, all of this was figured out by people much smarter than me, so credit goes to them, obviously. Now, we could decipher this a number of different ways, but judging by this scene and then seeing the scene of Lilith later on in the trailer has me wondering if Tannis isn't maybe helping the children of the vault to steal powers from sirens so that they can open as many vaults as possible. After that, we cut to the new Vault Hunters showing off Moses' mech Miss Daisy with Zane riding in the turret seat up top. Cut to the vehicles again, and from this shot it appears that we will be able to fully customize the cars, which is very cool. More on that later. Here we have Tyreen with some sort of power in her hand. Judging from the scenery around her, this takes place before or after we see the shot of Lilith crawling toward the key. And in the background you can see Tyreen and Troy touching arms. This looks like Tyreen passing off some powers to Troy, which would explain his red siren glowing face marks earlier as well. It's been speculated by many that Tyreen actually stole Lilith's powers, because in the shot you can see that Lilith's siren tats are actually gone. She appears to be weak and she's crawling toward the vault key. which would feed into my theory that this was set up by Tannis. Okay, now let's take a look at another new cool feature, the female bandits. It looks like we got a multitude of female enemies in this one, so that should be pretty interesting. Another quick look at the cars and why I think they might be fully customizable. In this shot, we have two buggies with the same frame type, but different wheels, so that's pretty neat. Now we get another shot of the new Siren and Meyer doing a ground pound, and then we cut to Maya and a little girl fist bumping, and this one's interesting because I want to speculate on this, that this might possibly be Maya's child, perhaps with Krieg. But holy crap, is that some wild speculation, so let's just take that with a grain of salt. Now we see Flak tearing it up with some sort of badass machine gun or assault rifle, and in the background we can see a fast travel marked motorcade. Now notice something here? Yeah, explore the worlds, plural. We're traveling the Borderlands galaxy in this one, gang. And we got Zane running and gunning while Moe's blast by in her tire vehicle, and then Moe's getting snuck up on by a female midget enemy. This is maybe a Tink, as they've been called. More cars in action. This time we see the hover car getting some serious air. Now this shot was one of those moments at PAX where you can actually feel everybody in the room just kind of gasp. It's awesome to see these new locations in such a grand, wide open way. Important to note, in the background of this shot, you can see the fallout on the Hyperion space station. The moment the bass dropped and you saw these two badass villains walking like this, all broody, tell me you didn't get goosebumps. And then also in the sequence, we see some more potential new bosses that we're going to farm the hell out of. And then here we got some new creatures, kind of cute but probably deadly, some more new bad guys, and then this shot at the end is very interesting. We get a variety of Maliwan enemies, which has a lot of people speculating the Maliwan might be the bad guys in this one. Here we see a Maliwan Cryo enemy, so we know that Cryo returns. And then we see Tiny Tina, Mordecai, and Brick, and this was another stand-up moment during PAX. This actually kind of captures the essence of Tina perfectly. On her backpack, though, we see a skull with a B in the middle with explosions coming out on both sides. Mordecai also has that logo on his legs, which leads me to believe that the three of them are a team of some sort. And if you look closely, you can also see that Tina has a tattoo on her back, but I can't really make out what it says. It does have a sword going into a heart with some text under it, though. You can also see Tiny Tina's new mask, which looks badass. We see Ellie and then the Hammerlock family with a new friend. Obviously, there's Sir Hammerlock, there's Aurelia, but who the heck is this guy? I've heard rumors that he's the head of a weapons manufacturer, but I'm not going to speculate on that. One of my favorite moments from the trailer was this quick glimpse of Reese from Tales from the Borderlands, along with Zero and some Crimson Lance soldiers. Reese has on an Atlas belt buckle, and for those of you who played Tales, you know that he took ownership of Atlas. Up next, we see the return of Marcus, Tannis, and Moxie. The new looks for each of the new characters is amazing. Interesting that Marcus has a man bun now, though. Then we see over 1 billion guns. That's amazing. Guns with legs. This is just one of those things. It's just one of those things that we have to have in our lives, and it's amazing. We didn't know that we needed it. Here you see a really fast cut version of a bunch of guns going by, a bunch of different locales. Slowing it down, we can see some of the different weapons. Here you see some sort of like modular gun that swaps barrel types, it looks like almost. You get a close look at some like a laser gun here. Here you can see some explosive rounds going into this gun. That's probably some Torg explosive things. Here you get to see the phase lock animation for Amara. And here we can see that we actually get to use cryo weapons ourselves here. Very cool. And here you can see a rocket mounted on the end of a gun. That's pretty crazy. In the background, you can see Pain and Terror begin. I don't know if these are going to be some enemies that we have to fight, but definitely looks pretty interesting. This one's really cool. The barrel on this gun, it looks like alien technology, possibly. I don't know. And then if you guys remember Tales from the Borderlands, check this thing out. It is a wrist-mounted gun of some sort. And then from Tales from the Borderlands, as you see right here, Vaughn found the Retro Atlasia, which was a wrist-mounted thing, so pretty neat. So I would assume that that would therefore be Atlas. As you see here, we get some fan blades being shot at us. This was an interesting scene because a lot of people didn't notice there was a Torg cereal box or ammo box, which is pretty neat. Here you get to see your first look at the Hyperion shield mounted thing on the gun. Right here you can see that this gun appears to be an Atlas weapon because, as you can see from Tales from the Borderlands, the Atlas Silver, which is apparently one of the rarest SMGs on Pandora. Looks kind of just like this in terms of the foregrip and everything, so pretty interesting. All right, now cutting to trailer 2, we get to see a better look at Amara. One of her powers is like a crazy pushback. We get to see swapping seats. It looks like there's 2 gunner seats in that car. Here we can see Moses' mech in like a defensive mode where it's just kind of hanging out on its own. There's some looks at the different characters, Mose and Flak and Amara. Here we get to see the ground pound a little bit better. Here's Zane. You get to see his little droid thing that he sends out. Get a look at the Calypso twins, their friends, so we get to see some more enemies in action. Pretty interesting stuff. But here we get to see something cool. You get to see the the legendary beam looks a lot bigger and brighter, so very cool. Here we get to see what appears to be a cryo weapon being shot by Zane again. Another look at the legendary. The beam looks huge, very easy to spot, very nice. Definitely like how they've done that. La Cage of Tinks, as you can see here, there's a bunch of different midget type enemies. They're now called Tinks, so very cool. Definitely nice to be able to call them something other than something that's considered offensive. Here we get another look at the worlds. Here's the Hyperion craft space station. And yeah, here's something very interesting. The Children of the Vault, looks like some of the worshippers were like frozen and crystallized or something. Very cool. Cannot wait to play this. Let me know down in the comment section below if there's anything that you guys saw that maybe I missed. If you liked the video, then please take a second to hit that like button, hit subscribe for more, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.